Your mango tree is a liar. It looks perfect. The leaves are dark green and shiny. The branches are thick and strong. It stands tall in your yard like a champion. But when the season comes for fruit, you get nothing. Zero. Not a single mango hangs from those beautiful branches. You water it, you feed it, you talk to it. Still, no fruit. It feels like a betrayal. You did everything right, or so you thought. But nature has a secret language, and your tree is speaking it loud and clear. You just aren't listening yet. Before we fix this, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are building a community of growers who value plain knowledge over expensive tricks. We want to keep this wisdom alive for the next generation, so join us here. Let me tell you about a neighbor of mine. Let's call him David. David had a mango tree that was the envy of the street. It was huge. It provided great shade. Birds loved it. But for 5 years, David bought his mangoes from the grocery store. He was frustrated. He thought his soil was bad. He thought the climate was wrong. He was ready to cut it down. Then we looked at it together. We didn't change the soil. We didn't move the tree. We made 3 small changes. The next year, David had so many mangoes he had to give them away to everyone on the block. His tree went from a decorative statue to a food factory. That transformation is possible for you too. It doesn't require magic. It requires understanding what the tree actually needs, not what you think it needs. You know this feeling. You walk out to your garden with your morning coffee. You look at your mango tree. It looks healthy. The leaves are vibrant. There are no bugs eating holes in them. The bark is smooth. You feel proud. But then you remember last year and the year before. No fruit. You start to doubt yourself. Did you plant it wrong? Is it too cold? Is it too hot? You see other people posting pictures of their harvests online. They have baskets full of golden fruit. You have a basket full of excuses. It hurts because you put in the work. You spent money on the tree. You spent time digging the hole. You spent hours watering it during the dry spells. It feels unfair. You might even feel a little angry at the tree. Why won't it just do its job? This is not your fault. Most gardening advice is wrong. It tells you to focus on the leaves. It tells you to focus on how fast it grows. But a fast-growing tree is often a lazy tree. It is too busy growing wood to bother making fruit. You are not alone in this struggle. Thousands of gardeners face this exact same problem every single year. They have healthy trees and empty hands. Here is the simple truth. A mango tree does not produce fruit because it is happy. It produces fruit because it is stressed. Wait, let me explain. When a tree has everything it wants, it gets lazy. If you give it too much water, it thinks, I don't need to save energy. I will just grow bigger. If you give it too much nitrogen fertilizer, it thinks, wow, lots of food, I will grow more leaves. Leaves are easy for a tree to make. Fruit is hard. Fruit takes a lot of energy. It takes sugar. It takes minerals. It takes time. If the tree is comfortable, it will choose the easy path. It will choose growth over reproduction. To get fruit, you have to convince the tree that it needs to make seeds. You have to create a gentle stress. You have to signal that times might be tough, so it better make babies now. This is the root cause. Your tree is too comfortable. It is living the good life. It has no reason to work hard. We need to change its mindset. We need to shift its focus from growing up to growing out, from making wood to making food. This is not about hurting the tree. It is about guiding it. It is about teaching it the proper role. A tree that only grows leaves is like a person who only eats but never works. It gets big, but it doesn't contribute. We want a productive tree. We want a tree that gives back. The first step to fixing this is to check your feeding habits. Most people love their trees too much. They buy big bags of fertilizer. They see the word grow on the bag, and they think it is good. But most general fertilizers are high in nitrogen. Nitrogen makes things green. Nitrogen makes things big. But nitrogen stops fruit. If you are using a fertilizer with a high first number, like October 10th, 10, or the 20th of October 10, stop immediately. That first number is nitrogen. You are feeding the leaves, not the fruit. You need to switch to a fertilizer that is low in nitrogen and high in phosphorus and potassium. Look for numbers like 0, 10, 10, or May 10th, 15. Phosphorus helps with roots and flowers. Potassium helps with fruit quality and sweetness. If you can't find a specific fruit fertilizer, use bone meal or rock phosphate. These are natural sources of phosphorus. They break down slowly. They don't rush the tree. They give it a steady supply of what it needs to bloom. Stop feeding your tree in late summer and fall. Let it rest. If you keep feeding it when it should be sleeping, it will keep growing soft, new leaves. Those new leaves will freeze in the winter or get burned by the sun. The tree needs to harden off. It needs to mature its wood. Only mature wood can hold heavy fruit. So step 1 is simple. Change your food. Less nitrogen, more phosphorus. Feed less often. Let the tree get a little hungry. A hungry tree is a motivated tree. The second step is about water. Water is life, but too much water is death for fruit production. If you water your mango tree every day, you are drowning its ambition. Mango trees are tropical, yes, but they are also used to dry seasons. In nature, there is a wet season and a dry season. The dry season is the trigger. When the rain stops, the tree panics. It thinks, oh no, water is running out. I must make seeds quickly before I die. That panic creates flowers. If you keep the soil wet all year round, the tree never gets that signal. It stays in growth mode. You need to mimic the dry season. Once your tree is established, meaning it has been in the ground for more than a year, stop watering it so much. Let the top few inches of soil dry out completely. Let the leaves droop just a tiny bit. Not enough to kill them, but enough to show the tree that life is not easy. This mild stress triggers hormone changes inside the tree. It shifts from vegetative growth to reproductive growth. If you live in a rainy area, this happens naturally. But if you are in a dry area and you irrigate heavily, you are fighting nature. Pull back on the hose. Let the rain do the work. If there is no rain, water deeply but infrequently. Once a week is often enough for a mature tree. Deep watering encourages deep roots. Shallow frequent watering encourages shallow roots. Deep roots find their own water and nutrients. They make a stronger tree. A stronger tree can hold more fruit without breaking. So, step 2 is to let it thirst. Just a little, enough to wake it up. The third step is sunlight. Mangoes are sun worshippers. They need full, direct sunlight, not partial shade, not dappled light. Full sun, at least 8 hours a day. If your tree is shaded by a house, a fence, or another bigger tree, it will not fruit. It might grow leaves, it might survive, but it will not fruit. Sunlight is the engine. Sunlight creates sugar through photosynthesis. Sugar is the fuel for fruit. No sun means no sugar. No sugar means no fruit. It is that simple. Look at your tree at noon. Are there shadows on it? If yes, you have a problem. You might need to trim the branches of nearby trees. You might need to move the tree if it is young. If it is too big to move, you have to accept that it may never fruit well. Don't waste your time trying to force a shaded tree to produce. It is a battle you will lose. Move it to the sunniest spot in your yard. If you are planting a new tree, pick the spot carefully. Watch where the sun goes in winter and summer. Pick the spot that gets the most light year-round. Sunlight also keeps the tree dry. Wet leaves lead to fungus. Fungus kills flowers. If your flowers get moldy, they fall off before they become fruit. Sunlight dries the dew. Sunlight kills the spores. So, step 3 is to chase the light. Give your tree the brightest spot you have. It will reward you with energy. The fourth step is pruning. This is where many people get scared. They think pruning hurts the tree, but pruning is necessary. A mango tree that is too dense will not fruit well. The air cannot move through it. The sun cannot reach the center. The tree spends all its energy keeping the inner leaves alive. Those inner leaves don't get enough sun, so they don't make much sugar. They are just a burden. You need to open up the tree. Think of it like a cup. You want the sun to fill the cup. Stand back and look at your tree. Is it a solid ball of green? If yes, it is too thick. You need to cut out some branches. Focus on the center. Remove branches that cross each other. Remove branches that grow straight down. Remove branches that are weak or thin. You want to create an open center. This allows light to penetrate deep into the canopy. It also allows air to flow. Good airflow prevents disease. Disease destroys flowers. Also, prune after the harvest. Do not prune right before the flowering season. If you prune too late, you cut off the flower buds. The tree blooms on old wood. If you cut off the old wood, you cut off the future fruit. So wait until the fruit is picked. Then shape the tree. Keep it manageable. A tree that is too tall is hard to harvest. Keep it wide and open, not tall and narrow. Step 4 is to open the door. Let the light and air in. A tidy tree is a productive tree. The 5th step is patience and age. This is the hardest part. Many people buy a small tree from a nursery. They expect fruit in a year, but most mango trees take 3 to 5 years to fruit. Some take 7. If your tree is young, it is simply not ready. It is still a child. It needs to grow its body before it can have babies. If you have a seedling, meaning you grew it from a seed, it can take 10 years or more, and the fruit might not be good. Grafted trees are faster. They are clones of a parent tree that already fruits. If you bought a grafted tree, give it time. Do not rush it. Do not overfeed it to make it grow faster. Fast growth is weak growth. Let it grow at its own pace. Check the graft union. That is the bump near the bottom of the trunk. Make sure it is healthy. Sometimes the rootstock sends up suckers. These are shoots that come from below the graft. They are wild. They will not produce good fruit. Cut them off immediately. They steal energy from the good part of the tree. If you see leaves that look different from the rest, check where they are coming from. If they are below the bump, cut them. Keep the energy focused on the top part. Step 5 is to wait. Trust the process. Nature cannot be hurried. A rushed tree is a disappointed tree. Now, let's talk about the mistakes that ruin your progress. The biggest mistake is loving the tree too much. I mean this literally. People hover over their trees. They water them every day. They fertilize them every month. They worry about every yellow leaf. This constant attention stresses the tree in the wrong way. It keeps the tree in a state of confusion. It doesn't know if it is wet season or dry season. It doesn't know if it should grow or fruit. Consistency is key. Pick a routine and stick to it. Another common mistake is ignoring the soil. You can have the best tree in the world, but if the soil is compacted, it will fail. Compacted soil has no air. Roots need air. If the soil is hard like concrete, the roots suffocate. They cannot breathe. They cannot absorb nutrients. Test your soil. Dig a hole. Fill it with water. If the water sits there for hours, your drainage is bad. You need to add organic matter. Compost, leaf mold, pine bark. These materials loosen the soil. They create air pockets. They let the roots breathe. Don't just dump fertilizer on hard soil. It won't help. Fix the structure first. Another mistake is planting too deep. The graft union must be above the soil line. If you bury it, it will rot. The tree will send up suckers. It will struggle to survive. Make sure the top of the root ball is level with the ground, not below it. Level. This seems small, but it is critical. A buried graft is a dead end. Here is a bonus tip that most experts keep to themselves. It is called girdling, but we will call it the gentle squeeze. This is an advanced technique. Use it with caution. If your tree is mature, healthy, and still not fruiting, you can try this. Take a piece of wire or a sturdy zip tie. Wrap it loosely around a main branch. Not tight enough to kill the branch, but tight enough to restrict the flow of sap slightly. Leave it on for a few weeks during the pre-flowering season. Then remove it. This slight restriction traps sugars in the branch. The high sugar concentration signals the tree to bloom. It is a shock to the system. It mimics the stress of a drought or injury, but be careful. If you wrap it too tight, you will kill the branch. If you leave it on too long, you will damage the tree. Only do this on 1 or 2 branches first. Test it. See how the tree reacts. If it works, you can do more next year. This is not for young trees, only for strong, established trees that are stubborn. It is a last resort, but it often works when nothing else does. It forces the tree to focus. It says, make fruit now, or lose this branch. Trees are smart. They listen. Another pro tip is about pollination. Some mango varieties are self-fertile. They can pollinate themselves, but many are not. They need a partner. If you have only one tree, it might not fruit because there is no pollen source. Check your variety. If it needs a partner, plant a second tree. It doesn't have to be the same variety. In fact, different varieties often pollinate each other better. Plant them close enough for bees to travel between them. Bees are the workers. They carry the pollen. If you don't have bees, you can hand pollinate. Use a small paintbrush. Gently touch the inside of one flower. Then touch the inside of another flower. Do this in the morning when the flowers are fresh. It is tedious work, but if you have only one tree, it might be necessary. Look at the flowers. Do they have both male and female parts? Some mango flowers are male only, some are female only, some are both. You need the both kind to set fruit. If your tree only has male flowers, it will never fruit. This is rare, but it happens. Observe your flowers. Learn their shape. Knowledge is power. Let's summarize what we have learned. Your tree is not broken. It is just confused. It is too comfortable. It needs a little push. Stop feeding it so much nitrogen. Let it get hungry. Stop watering it so much. Let it get thirsty. Give it full sun. Open up its branches. Let the light in. Be patient. Let it grow up. Avoid the mistakes of overlove and poor soil. And if all else fails, give it a gentle squeeze. These steps are simple. They are cheap. They do not require expensive equipment. They require observation. They require understanding. You are not just a gardener. You are a partner to nature. You work with the tree, not against it. When you align your actions with nature's laws, the results are magical. The fruit will come. It will be sweet. It will be juicy. It will be worth the wait. Think about the taste of a homegrown mango. It is not like the ones in the store. The store mangoes are picked green. They are shipped far away. They are cold. They are bland. Your mango will be warm from the sun. It will be ripe on the branch. It will drip with juice. It will taste like sunshine and effort. That flavor is the reward. It is the payment for your patience. It is the proof that you listened. When you bite into that first mango, you will remember these steps. You will remember the dry soil. You will remember the open branches. You will remember the wait. And you will smile because you did it. You unlocked the secret. This knowledge is old. It is plain. It is not new, but it is forgotten. We live in a world of quick fixes. We want instant results. But gardening is slow. It is deliberate. It teaches us to slow down. It teaches us to watch. It teaches us to care. In a kitchen run with care, there is no such thing as garbage. And in a garden run with care, there is no such thing as failure, only lessons. Every yellow leaf is a lesson. Every dropped flower is a lesson. Learn from them. Adjust. Try again. Nature is forgiving. It gives you another season, another chance. I want to hear from you. Where are you gardening? What state are you in? What county? How old is your house? Tell me in the comments. I read every comment. I want to know who is out there growing with me. Are you in Florida, California, Texas, or maybe you are growing in a pot in New York? Your location matters. Your climate matters. Share your details. Let's build a map of growers. Let's help each other. If you have a mango tree that is struggling, tell me. Describe it. How big is it? How old is it? What have you tried? We can troubleshoot together. This community is about sharing. It is about preserving this wisdom. If we don't share it, it dies. If we don't teach our children, they won't know how to grow food. They will depend on stores. They will depend on others. We want independence. We want self-reliance. Subscribe to keep this knowledge alive. Hit the bell so you don't miss the next video. In the next video, we are going to talk about something even more controversial. We are going to talk about why you should never mulch your mango tree with wood chips. Yes, you heard me right. Everyone says to mulch. But for mangoes, it can be deadly. I will show you the science behind root rot. I will show you the alternative that keeps your tree healthy and dry. You won't want to miss it. It might save your tree from dying this winter. So, stay tuned. Keep watching. Keep learning. Keep growing. Thank you for spending this time with me. Go out to your garden. Look at your tree. Really look at it. Listen to what it is saying. It has a story to tell, and now you know how to listen. Good luck and happy growing.